So hello and welcome to another Valorant video. Today we are going to take a look at Soniqs versus Luminosity on Breeze that happened yesterday because, well, you know I'm a sucker for interesting and different comps, and if you look at what Soniqs are playing, it was an interesting and different comp. As you can see, there is no Duelist in this comp here, but there is an Astra, which is a very strange pick for this map and not something that you will often see at all. And so I wanted to go through sort of, is Astra on Breeze something that can actually work? And I'm going to talk about what Soniqs did well, what perhaps they could have done a bit better as well. We're going to focus mostly on their attack side here as well, because I found that that was perhaps the more interesting. I'm sure that you'll understand what Astra can do sort of defensively and just smoking off, smoking off a choke point, sucking them in when they're about to enter the site. It's all very normal stuff defensively, but offensively I thought it was pretty interesting, so let's dive in. So the first round we're going to take a look at here will be round number 5, and I'm just going to start playing it because it's going to be a pretty slow round, and this obviously makes a lot of sense if you're at Soniqs, because looking at your team comp, you don't have much that's going to really help you, enter a site and get onto a site very fast. You don't have a duelist, whatever. So you can see they try to sort of explore towards tube. As you can see, they get Sova ulted off doing that, and so they eventually have to go back. They try and Sova ult the Sova on the other side, and eventually it ends up with Ian basically sneaking in here. Then he gets revealed by that. Then he has to avoid these shock darts and ends up having to retreat again. But as you can see, if you look at the map at the rest of the team, if we just pause it there, not much is really going on with the rest of the team. You've got, KO's still back here, Chamber is still just, kind of watching, maybe seeing if anyone's peeking out of A, which they aren't. Silver is all the way back here. Astra is kind of just back there. So really there hasn't been much movement at all from Soniqs here, and pretty much the only contact in this round so far has been up the tube, and that's the way it's going to stay. Now eventually call is going to come to go towards B, which you can see eventually happens. But as you can see from the map here, all of the LG players are kind of leaning towards A. They think it's A, and this is the thing, right? And this is where the beauty of kind of having this Astra and Viper on this map come together, because it means, and this is basically what happened, Ian basically put down this wall on Viper pretty much every single round. This is a very oppressive wall, because what it means is when it's up, you have no idea where they are, and peeking it is just so risky. It's not as bad as it used to be because you can now play close, but it is still pretty bad if you're not playing close, because you'll have no idea. And that's basically what's going to happen to LG. This wall goes up, they have no idea if Soniqs are here, if they're there, if they're all the way back here. They have literally no idea where they are, and it's not going to be until we're at 54 seconds now. If I just come to the normal mode, we're at 54 seconds now. It's going to get to like 20 seconds, and these players are going to think it's even more towards A, which is baffling, right? And if we run this through now, you'll see what I mean. The round's going to continue. They're going to obviously sneak through spawn, only make footsteps, where they know it's very safe that no one will hear them. There's no way anyone could hear them. And as you can see, those LG players, they still aren't towards B at all. And Soniqs are going to eventually make their hit towards A. But then pretty soon as well, I don't know what caused this, but if we watch, if you watch on the map here, the Sky and the Jet, we're at 31 seconds to go. The Sky and the Jet are going to make their way back to the A site, and I'm guessing that's due to this Viper wall. And it's not until this Sova, as you can see, is just hiding back here, eventually decides to peek, that I think they kind of figure it out. But the fact that they have two controllers allows them to do, if I come to the normal mode again here, allows them to do what they're doing now. Astra Stars, this is what they're able to do because they have that secondary controller. They can still execute on B with smokes, with some kind of utility going towards the site, without their Viper necessarily needing to be there. And obviously that allows them to lay down that wall pretty much every round, which then means that they could be going A, but it doesn't mean they're going A. All very good stuff, which is why a lot of teams like running Viper with an extra controller, because it makes you a bit more unpredictable. And so they end up getting on this site for free. And even though Ian here is going to lose this fight, they're going to get the spike down with about 10 seconds left. They eventually will end up winning this round because they got on a site for free, because they could always use that same Viper wall. But they could still execute a site even if there was someone still here on B. They still would have had smokes up. They still would have had that Astra utility to go about. If we play the round out, you can see them win the round, even though they're in a 5v3. They managed to win this round. KO coming in pretty big, as you can see here. They end up getting a lot of kills there. They trade it off. They end up in a 2v2, and they're going to end up winning. Obviously, the op here on the spike, that was kind of a bit lucky. And then they end up in this 1v1. I do like how Bob played this 1v1 as well. You know, the Sky kind of has to tap the spike here. The drone as well for the reveal. Waits for the ping. You know, waits for the ping of the drone. Are they still on the spike? At that moment, I'm good. Let's go. Kill them. Get the round win. And I think that that was a good indication of, you know, potentially how Astra and Viper could be used together. Okay, now let's watch round 7 and see what happens. So you're going to see Ian come here, and Ian is like, oh my god, he's panicking. Because he's hearing a lot of footsteps, and he knows that there was a lot of people there. He saw 2 of them, and he also heard a sky flash come out as well, and he knows that 3 are there. So I want you to just watch how the rest of Soniqs react to that. So Ian has died here. He's relayed the information that, okay, they pushed out pretty heavy there with, I'm guessing he knew that there was 3 people there because he saw 2 of them, and he probably heard more footsteps and heard a sky flash as well, so I'm pretty sure he knows how many there. And I just want you to watch the reaction on the map of these Soniqs players here and how they go about the rest of this round. So Ian has just died. Let's see what happens if we play it through. You're going to see that they sprint up, and if we come onto the normal mode, you can see knife out, sprint up mid, which is, you know, normally something that you'd probably say is pretty risky to do, but 3 players were doing that, so we're just going to go. And we're just going to enter the site. Now, Moose ends up doing pretty well here, it must be said. He delays them, he gets a kill. He does pretty well, ends up in a 4v3. Soniqs end up losing this round, but again, I just kind of wanted to show you, if you ever get pushed like that, where you're on your own and 3 people come at you, you, 1, need to relay that to your team, obviously. But 2, your team should react in terms of, let's go then. You know, either we should group together and just sprint somewhere, because either it'll be like a 4v1, and we'll get an easy kill, you know, or we should be able to trade that off and we should be good. And 2, we might run into somewhere where there is no one, and we'll just get a spike plant for free. We'll get on site for free, and we can just play the post plant after that. That is what how you should probably react, as Soniqs just did there. Let's go. Okay, there's 3 people there. Let's go. Especially on a map like Breeze, that's obviously so big. You know, you're probably going to find a lot of open space if 3 people are in one area. And then finally, I want to bring your attention to round number 10. This one is a pretty interesting round, and as I said, with Soniqs team comp, you're probably expecting that they're gonna play pretty slow, and they had done up until this point, but it's actually 6-3 to LG. They'd been struggling for a while, and so this is what they did instead. Let's just play the round first, and then we'll talk about it afterwards. But as you can see, this is the good old press W, rush in, see what happens. We'll go to the map view after, but as you can see, they get a kill there. I think 1 does die here, yep, but we're gonna get another kill right there, and all of a sudden it is a 4v3 now, 4v2 now after that kill from Ian as well on the lurk, and they end up taking the spike and getting it down and winning the round in a 4v2 as you would probably expect. Now let's look at it from the map because I really like it. So what we're gonna get is, I'll just wait for them to come down. Right, yes, we're gonna get 2 Astra stars. We're gonna get 1 here, as you can see, and 1 here. Now this second one here is actually going to end up be taken back. I'm guessing he wanted to pull if there was anyone there. But he's going to smoke this off as Astra, okay? This is actually obviously something that Astra could smoke, and that's going to allow both the Chamber and Astra to run up through short. And this is the thing about Breeze and this A site on Breeze. So I meant to rub that out. This is the thing about Breeze and this A site, is you would think that a comp like this can't go fast. But on A site, you can always go fast because there's just so many different ways of entering the site that you can just do it and you can overwhelm the defenders. Because basically there's 2 of them here. You know, if you have 2 people coming from cave this way and you've got 2 people coming from short, well, this person has 2 people to deal with and this person has 2 people to deal with, and these 3 are all very far away. And that's the thing about this A site, is you can always go fast towards this A site. And I also love Ian here on the lurk as well. It all works so beautifully well, and if you just watch the map, you'll see what I mean. These 2 just, you know, run up here. Ian stays back a bit, and he's going to end up, you know, kind of just sneaking in around here. Good lurk position for him to be in on the rotations. You can see that they start to go to cave. They knife close. Very important for this as well. Knifing close, making sure, because the thing is, if someone was close on either side, really, they could fight these people, maybe get 1 kill for free, and fight the other one without having to really deal with these people. Whereas people further back in the site have to deal with both. But if you're really close, you only have to deal with the cave, and you can kind of, you know, let the other people in a bit earlier. So knifing close as well makes a lot of sense. In they go. into the site. And even though they actually go down a man, because it's so fast, because it's such a pace change, because everything is going so quick, it just allows them to, you know, get in off the chaos. They KO ult as well, which allows them a revive. Also, there's the kill from Ian in mid, as you just saw up here. And it worked very well. And so this is the thing about Breeze. You can play a comp with no Duelist and still be very fast. And Soniqs used it pretty well in this round, and it gave him a bit of momentum as well after they just lost 3 rounds in a row. Very good pace change, a very well executed thing overall. Everything was well thought out, everything was well planned, everything worked pretty well, and they end up winning the round. So that was some of Soniqs' attack, but I don't think they maximized their attack potential as they could have with these two agents in Astra and Viper. I have no problem with them using this wall over and over again. I actually think that's perfectly fine. It's a very good wall that's very strong for a lot of different things. So I have no problem with that, especially with KO in the comp as well, because if you can 0 point this and make sure no one is close, well, then it means that basically the only place anyone could be that gets any information is back here or in this general vicinity anyway. And that's, you know, a pretty dangerous place to play. And if there's only one place you have to check, then that's pretty good. So I don't mind that whatsoever. But one thing they didn't do that I really wish they would have done is get Viper over here and get this Viper orb into Nest. Now, it's something that a lot of teams do, and if you are playing Viper on this map, by the way, learn a lineup for this, because this is really good. Because the problem is, what can Astra smoke and what can't Astra smoke? Astra used to be unplayable on this map because she couldn't smoke cave reliably pretty well. Now that it's smaller, she can, and that makes her, I think, playable at least on this map. But there's still plenty of things that she can't smoke. One of them is up here in Nest. It's just not quite big enough to reliably kind of fill it all and make sure there's no gaps. It's just not going to happen. And then, you know, things like this arches back here as well. There's just a couple places on the map that Astra smokes are just a little too small to be able to reliably smoke off and get on there. Now, if you're wondering, by the way, what they were doing, actually, Soniqs, on this Astra smoke anytime they went B was actually something like this. They were double smoking this and then kind of, you know, running on this way. Which is kind of an interesting idea itself, but it's not kind of what I'm focused on too much here. But the point is, they needed, in my opinion, to get the Viper Orb in Nest, because what I would have done is get this Viper Orb in Nest, and Astra can smoke this off. Now, Astra can smoke Tube off more reliably than Viper. The reason is because the Viper lineup is kind of from back here, and you run and you throw it, and normally it lands about here. And it doesn't quite get as far in as perhaps you would really want it to. This, obviously, this Astra Smoke is a better one that she can just place down for free anyway. You know, this is very difficult to place, and obviously it is big enough, right? That's the key point as well. And I would have done this. This would have been my baseline if I was Soniqs with these two agents on this map. And the reason is that there's normally one defender that's tasked with kind of manning, you know, this kind of whole area. This kind of whole area between Nest and between Tube. Normally there's kind of one player who kind of goes back and forth between them, kind of reacts to, you know, what others have heard, what others have said, and goes between them and sees what they can see. The thing is, with this setup, what on earth does that defender do? How do they help their team? Is someone up Tube? I don't know. Is someone, you know, close on Nest? Have they run up mid here? I don't know, right? It's a bunch of things that is just, I don't know. This player here, who's normally tasked with this area, can't really help the team that much, you know, or at least not just, you know, jump peeking and things like that. Just won't work because they're going to be smoked off. So you can sneak up elbow, you know, and only know that basically you have to fight this, right? But at the same time, you can sneak up Tube on this person as well and just cause absolute chaos. And that is what I would have done if I was Soniqs. I think it was a bit of a shame that they didn't do this, because I think that that is an interesting way of trying to attack this map, is just try and control mid, right? And you can add things in like, you know, Nova Pulses, Gravity Wells in these kind of areas towards elbow and towards the wooden doors here. As you put the Astra utility there as well, you start, maybe you even smoke this off, right? This could be your second smoke here. Could be just something like that. And at this point, you know, mid is yours. This whole area is yours. Congratulations. And this is something that people aren't used to as well. No one's used to you sneaking up here, right? But maybe you could do it with Astra and Viper. That's the thing. It allows you to do things that otherwise you just couldn't be able to do with only Viper on this map. But unfortunately, I don't think they made the most of that kind of potential that they could have had with this kind of setup. And I'm sure you can see the advantages of doing some weird things like this, of just overwhelming certain areas of the map. And again, as I mentioned, causing a player here who's manning this to be like, I don't know what to do. you know, I'm constantly smoked off. What on earth do? I think that there was potential there that Soniqs didn't quite play into enough.